What's up, guys? It's Friday. For those of you who have a standard Monday through Friday work week, congratulations on making it through once again. Those of you who don't have the weekend off, I'm sorry. I'll be celebrating with you in spirit when you get there. So this is the first episode of what I'm calling Friday Firsts, where I am going to be trying to do things that I have never done before, or at least never done in my adult life. I don't really count the stuff I went through when I was a kid. So, as I had mentioned in my intro video, the majority of my adult life has been shaped by the relationship with my husband. So there are a lot of things that I just haven't done because of that for various reasons. And, I'm not talking about, extreme stuff like bungee jumping or skydiving or jumping off a cliff into a lake, or I have my restrictions. And, not like weird immoral things either. Like, I'm talking about normal stuff. Should be normal adult stuff, or like normal woman type things. But I just haven't done it. And we'll get into more details on why I hadn't done certain things. But as an example, I have never gone to a salon and gotten a pedicure. I feel like this is a normal adult activity. It's pretty normal for some kids too. But this is a normal woman thing, to go to the salon and get a pedicure, right? I've never done it. My husband has always been so jealous that he doesn't want another man to look at my feet. Tried to compromise and say I'll go to a salon with an all-woman staff. He still had a problem with that because he was afraid some random guy would walk in and see my feet. I'm not quite sure what he was picturing in his mind, but I don't have like feet that are gonna stop some guy in his tracks. You know what I mean? Like, they're not special. Like, they're not hideous, but they're not like pretty. Like, they're just feet, guys. Like, it's not a big deal. It's really not. So it's kind of nuts that, that's something that I've never done and I've deprived myself of because he was too jealous for me to go do it. So that's on my list. So they may be, real small things like the pedicure or doing karaoke or, something like that. It may be a little bit bigger, like maybe going on a plane or going to a cabin in the woods in the snow. Like, I've never done those types of things. And, some other big stuff that, I'm going to have to save for, or, like win the lottery, a small lottery, like a scratch ticket or something. I just don't have money. So should you ever want to contribute to any of these Friday Firsts, you can always hit me up on my Cash App under Mid-Crisis Mama. If not, that's fine, of course. I'm just gonna have to save up for some of these things that I want to do, hopefully find some really great deals, and just get out and try to live some life, man. But until then, I'm gonna be starting small, doing the little things. Like, I've never grown my own vegetable or like herbs or things like that. Like, it's just weird that it's super simple and I've never done these things. So I'm going to take you along my journey. I'm going to vlog some things and whatnot. So, there's also some things that I know is going to make my husband uncomfortable. We are not officially divorced. So, but we are separated. I know he's going to have a problem with these things, but I feel like, that's one of the hurdles I have to overcome. That is something that I have to work on. That is a big part of why I'm doing this, because I have spent my whole life basically being dictated by this relationship and not experiencing certain things because I'm walking on eggshells, like wondering, if I do this thing, is he gonna freak out and think that, like I'm cheating on him, or looking at somebody, right? Like, I've been treated like his exes. So his experience with relationships before me are women who have been unfaithful and done things behind his back and lied, cheated, all that kind of stuff. And I have been 100% faithful this entire relationship, even though he hadn't been. Even when before we were married, we were separated for 6 years at one point. And even during those 6 years, like, I didn't talk to anybody else, you know, I didn't go out with anybody else, I wasn't thinking about anybody else. I remained faithful because this was the man that I wanted to be with. And I think this is the biggest blow to my mental health, I think, is committing so wholeheartedly to somebody and not being treated like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I could understand if he questioned my loyalty because I had cheated on him before. I could understand him not being comfortable with me going certain places or doing certain things if it had ever been an issue in the past, but it hasn't been. And it may have been an issue with his prior relationships, but it's never been an issue with me. And so I've been kept like on this short leash our entire relationship based off of what other women have done to him. And so I'm done. Do you hear me? Like, I'm talking to myself still too. I'm done. I'm living for me. And if I know within myself that I'm not doing anything morally wrong, I'm going to do it. And I don't really care who cares anymore. I don't care who has a problem with it, including him. I don't, because it's not okay. It's not okay. He needs help as well. I need help in healing, and he needs help in healing. So hopefully he gets that and heals from that, because I can only imagine feeling that level of insecurity and jealousy for somebody is not, it can't be fun. It's not easy, I'm sure. It's just, it has to be tormenting to have something going on in your mind that's not actually going on. Do you know what I mean? So, like, I want to do things like I want to go dancing. And I'm throwing this out there because I don't dance. I can't dance. I've never learned how to dance, but I want to go dancing because people that go out and go dancing look like they're having fun. And I don't know what kind of, like, I don't know, line dancing. You know, I'm not talking about like going to, like, I don't want to go to a club. I don't really have a desire to go to a club, but just dancing. Like, I want to learn how to dance, even if it's not like out dancing, but, you know, maybe I take a dance class or something. Like, I want to learn how to do that without somebody feeling uncomfortable that, you know, I'm having an affair because I went to go learn how to dance. Like, that's nuts. So, I want to buy myself stuff because getting gifts is not something that I've, like, had the privilege of doing. Like, he doesn't buy me gifts. You know what I mean? Like, I want to buy myself stuff. I want to do things for me. I want to treat myself the way I feel like he should have treated me all of these years. So I'm doing this not just for me, but as I've said before, I'm doing this for other people out there too who are going through similar things. If you are not getting something from your significant other, that does not mean that you don't deserve it. And it doesn't mean that you shouldn't have it. And it doesn't mean that you have to go without it. Because if they're not getting it for you, do it yourself. Straight up. For example, and this was actually a big deal in one of the very last, like, fights that we got into, not too long ago, when I was starting this process of deciding I was ready to heal. I was at, I forget what department store I was in, but I saw this little double-sided butterfly ring. And to me, that meant something as far as the butterfly and emerging and becoming something and being new. And it was on clearance, because I love sales. It was on clearance. So, you know, I think it was, I don't know, it was like $30. So for me, it was a huge splurge, but it was the first piece of real jewelry that I, like, had ever bought for myself. I think ever. So it just was a very important piece for me. And I wasn't going to wear it all the time, but I was going to wear it when I went out. And so I had it in a jewelry box, and I went to put it on one morning before I left somewhere. And it was a ring that was like split in the middle, so it didn't connect all the way. He had stretched this ring out and destroyed it. Just destroyed it. And I was so livid because, first of all, it was petty and childish. That's first of all. But I was livid because it meant something to me. Like, it was super important to me. And he just didn't care. And still hasn't replaced it, even though I told him he owes me the $30 or a replacement ring, which he hasn't done, and I don't really expect him to do, because that's not in his nature to actually replace something that he's destroyed. So anyway, I want to buy myself things. Another thing that was just seems so small, but it's so important, is like I'm not a big flower person, but in, like, when I was pregnant, I think especially, we'd be at the store and there were these sections of like these orchids, and I've been seeing these orchids for a long time, and I've just fell in love with them. And then I saw this display and they had all these different colored orchids, and I saw these baby blue ones, and like, baby blue is my favorite color. Baby blue is very like peaceful and calming to me, and like if I just look at that color, it just brings me peace. And so these baby blue orchids, I just fell in love with them. And I told him, like, every time we were at the store together, or any chance I got, like, I told him numerous times how much I really wanted one of these orchids. And granted, the orchids are like $15. You know what I mean? Like, they're not super expensive. It's not a big deal. I just wanted one orchid. And he never, ever bought me an orchid. And I'm like, and I get it, because he's never really bought me anything. So, you know, gifts, no, I don't get those. And so when I asked for certain things and I didn't get them, I guess I don't really expect it, but I'm gonna buy myself an orchid, damn it. Like, that's the point I'm trying to make through all this rambling. It's so damn simple. It's so simple. And it sucks because it's like, damn. Dear husband, I'm not worth an orchid. You know what I mean? Like, not worth an orchid? Come on. It's so simple. When I bought our wedding rings, I didn't have like hardly any money, as usual, right? And I spent like $40 on his wedding ring from Walmart, and I bought mine for $18 from Kohl's. And when I bought the rings, or I should say when I bought my ring, I looked at all these fancy rings. I looked at all the ones that I really would have loved to have, but they were a little bit more, and I decided that I would spend less on mine so I could spend more on his. That's one. And I also decided to get a smaller ring because I wanted to make it easy for him to upgrade. Like, you couldn't have gotten simpler than the ring that I had, really. And we've been married now for 5 years. He's had money come through his hands. He's had no desire to ever buy me a wedding ring. And it sucks. It sucks. It really does. So, part of the healing process is learning to acknowledge the things that you deserve to have. It hurts to face some of this stuff because it makes you realize how unimportant you were to some people. And there are quite a few people in my life who I've found I was pretty unimportant to. But of course, the biggest hurt for me is my husband, because he's been the most important person in my life. So to feel so unappreciated and unimportant to him, it really sucks. So as I was saying, I'm gonna do these things now that I wanna do because I wanna do them, and I don't care what he or anybody else thinks about what it is that I do. I don't care. I don't care if I look like an idiot doing some of this stuff because I suck at it. I don't care if I make a fool out of myself. I don't care if I'm the butt of somebody's jokes because I put myself out there in public and somebody caught me on video and I end up, somebody's meme. I don't care anymore. Like, I'm so numb to all of that. I just don't care. Because the one person that I wanted to care didn't. And so I'm doing for me now. And that's all there is to it. So if you are somebody who is just putting up with being treated however somebody wants to treat you, and you are not being treated the way you want to be treated, first and foremost, because I'm not promoting just up and leave or divorce or whatever it may be, communicate these issues to your significant other. I have tried to do that for years. Literally, in the entire 25 years we've been together, I don't think we've had one serious relationship talk. There's been times where he's agreed to sit down and listen to things a handful of times, and that would be me talking, and then it would end up in an argument because I couldn't actually get any dialogue happening. That doesn't count. It doesn't count. So if you're not getting what you want out of the relationship, you need to communicate. You need to give your partner the opportunity to show that they are invested in this relationship, to prove that they care about what it is that you care about. Like, understandably, we're two different people. In a relationship, you are dealing with two completely different people. You have to be able to come to some sort of middle ground. But if there's no communication whatsoever, that can never happen. Somebody is going without. And if you continue to push and push and push and push and push, like, you have to make a decision. Either you end it at some point and you walk away and you go do it for yourself, or you live miserably for the rest of your life. Or you suck it up. Maybe you don't be miserable. Maybe you learn to just live with it and you're not miserable, but you're not exactly getting what makes you happy either. But you have a decision to make. If you're unhappy, you have to do something. Make a decision. But again, just because you're not getting treated the way you want to be treated doesn't mean that you can't treat yourself that way. Date yourself, buy things for yourself, go out and do things, love yourself. If you are not getting love in return from somebody else, love yourself. And really, you have to love yourself before you're going to end up getting love from anybody else. You can't keep pouring yourself out and out and out and out and out and expect to get anywhere. You just won't. You're not going to have anything left. So, I have completely started rambling, and this is what happens when I don't have any kind of notes in front of me to keep me on track. But I'm going to try to reel this in a little bit. So, this is Friday 1st, guys. But this is real talk. This is real. This is me. While I'm not going to give you guys 100% of my business, 100% of the details all the time, I am still going to try to do my best to be real and to be raw and to let you guys see what it is, because it's not always happy and it's not always perfect. And I've spent a lot of years in silence and in hiding and pretending that things were fine, and they're not. And I'm not going to do it anymore. I want people to know that it's okay to break your silence. I want people to know that it's okay to tell your story. You deserve to tell your story, no matter whose feelings it hurts. You don't have the right to make up things about somebody and to make somebody into a villain if they weren't a villain. However, if somebody was a villain in your life and you tell the truth about them in your story and they become the villain in your story, that's there too bad. Honestly, that's there too bad. Because here's a tip for everybody, myself included. If you don't want to be the villain in somebody's story, don't be the villain in their life. If you don't want to come out like a bitch, don't be a bitch. If you don't want to be the asshole, don't be an asshole. Like, if you don't want to look bad when someone tells their story, then don't be that in their life, because they have a right to tell their story. So I know for a fact that the things that I'm going to talk about are going to piss my husband off. But I don't care. I know it's going to bother him. I know he's going to be embarrassed about some stuff. I know he's going to be ashamed about some stuff. Well, I think he's going to be ashamed about some stuff probably. And like I said, while I'm not going to share all the details and put all the business out there, I'm going to be real and give the topics. And, I had to go through what I went through. So, all right. I think I've gone far enough off topic. So, yeah. Friday 1st is going to be a hard one for me. It's going to deal a lot with my healing, because I'm going to be facing all the things that technically I feel like I missed out on. And it's going to be hard to face the fact that I spent so many years not experiencing certain things. 99% because of him. So the things that may just seem little and insignificant or whatever, and oh, that's not a big deal. Oh, she's gonna plant her own vegetable. Yeah, damn it, I'm gonna plant my own vegetable. And you know what? It may not be a big deal to somebody else, but it's a big deal to me. That's something so small that I've wanted to do just seems so stupid in my partner's eyes that I never did it. The things that I want to do that are important to me, I'm gonna do them. Plain and simple. Like, it's a new day and it's a new me, and that's what Friday 1st is about. So, yeah. Sorry for the breakdown, not sorry for the breakdown, keeping it real, letting you guys see that. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Hope you guys have a great weekend, and deep breaths for anybody who's feeling a little traumatized like I am at the moment. So have a great weekend. Do something fun. Enjoy yourself. Take a break. Get some rest. And I will see you next week.